I did release some good games too. I was lucky, starting in Ubisoft, to work with very, very senior and talented guys. So I released a game on Nintendo 64. It was a master console at this time, Nintendo 64. And they released a platforming game for kids called Rayman 2, and it was 90% in game rankings. At this time, there was very few games that were able to reach 90%. And then I did good and bad, and I learned from my mistakes. I managed to spoil 1 million euros. I took a year of vacation to try to cope with that. And then the last game I released as a producer was Recon Advanced Warfighter. And again, it was 90% on game rankings on a new platform, Xbox 360, which was just out. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the remotes. I'm PC, I'm not Mac. I'm trying to look cool with the Mac, but I'm just PC. So why can we talk about quality in Ubisoft? I think we're legit because it's been a constant obsession from the whole organization and from my CEO to try to be the best, not in terms of turnover, but in terms of quality. We're not there yet. Japan is so much better than we are. There are some great companies over the world. But still in 25 years, we managed to go from 5 guys starting a business up to number 3 independent developer in 2011. We have about 20 brands that are selling multi-million units, and out of those, some have reached 92 or 93% in games ranking. I don't know if you're very familiar with this ranking, but reaching 90% is extremely hard. Reaching 95%, there are 2 or 3 games that manage to do this. It's very difficult. And one of the reasons why we managed to do this is because we have studios spread over the world, 25 studios developing and creating games on 16 countries. And we all know this. Some countries are better than others in some fields. So we have some great programmers in China. We have some great artists in France. But French people don't work OT. And we have some great game designers in Quebec. But Quebec, they never listen to what the head office says. And so it's like, weaknesses and strength. And we're trying to have all these teams collaborate on an international level so that we get the best from those teams. It's not perfect. Sometimes it's just very annoying. You can talk with some of my producers here. Working with the US is hard, and the time difference, and etc. But I think we're learning from mixing with other culture and benchmarking our work with other nationalities. Some of these studios are 22 or 23 years old, like Eastern Europe or France. Montreal is 15 years old, and India is one of the latest. It's 5 years old now. So how can we make quality in India? And what are we doing in Ubisoft India? So in 2007, a sister company called Gameloft, which is headed by one of the brothers of my CEO, they started a studio that was not really focused on quality. It was more focused on mobile mass ports and a QA studio, a very good QA studio. And we acquired this company in 2008. And we released some games that were either not ranked or not of such good quality, but we're learning. I always remember that in my first years, I released a game that's about 20 or 25% quality. So it doesn't mean that we cannot do better. And I think in the past years, we've been showing that, yes, we can create some decent quality. I would not say that what we're doing is great. I would say that it's of decent quality. 2 examples of the latest releases. So we enhanced the trilogy of Splinter Cell, and we put it on PlayStation 3 and PSN. And we reached about 70% on Metacritic, and we sold 200,000 units. I'm not saying that I don't want our games to not sell. I want them to sell, but I want them to sell for good reasons. And the last game that we released, it was out about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's Assassin's Creed Rearmed. 1 million downloads and 4.5 stars out of 5. So I'm happy to, yep. I don't know what tomorrow will be, but have confidence. Why would you want to deliver quality? It's a real question. When I came in India, I tried to find a place where I could purchase matchboxes where all the matches were working. Usually when I purchase a matchbox, I need to try 5 times before having one that works. Because of the climate, because it's moist, because, many reasons. But still, I'm thinking that there's somewhere one CEO whose job, every day, is to release a product that doesn't work. I don't understand it. And I think that the people working in a factory, they must know it, and they must feel that something is wrong. Especially on the video game industry, the reason why I believe that we should all try to create quality is that our costs are rising. I don't think that India should try to promote the video game industry just with the low cost, because it's not sustainable. If you don't raise quality faster than your costs, you're going to be squeezed between high-quality countries that are not that costly. You can get government subsidies. We're having this in Ubisoft in many countries. High-quality countries sometimes are not more than twice more expensive than India. I'm talking about the average cost of one man-month. So you're squeezed between these high-quality countries and lower-cost countries. Vietnam is coming, and today they're not releasing quality that's much lower than what we do in India. So let's say that we have 15% of increase of the cost on a man-month per year. In 5 years, this means that everything will be twice the cost. If we don't double the quality before these 5 years, there's no reason why a client would choose, client like customer or client like publisher, would choose to look into India as providing games. And customers, they really don't care where the games are created. They don't care that we have electricity power issues. They don't care that we are late in the morning because the roads don't work. They don't care. They just want to have great games, and they're ready to pay the right price for this. Second reason why I believe that quality is important. It's more philosophical, I would say. I don't think that money is a value. I was a bit sad yesterday during the State of the Industry workshop that we had, of I don't know the name, workshop. It looked to me like everybody was just focusing on the return on investment. And yes, I mean, business is business. We're not, we're not artists. We're doing products. But money cannot be a value. I think money is just a mean to do something and to be free and to do what you want to do and to achieve your dreams. But pride, the pride of a team or the self-pride, this is a value. And the reason why we're all working in this industry, it's not just to make money, because there are other ways to make money, and you can make much more money, being a broker or working in many fields. So we all chose a creative field. We should not forget this. We did this because we like games and because we like entertainment and because we like people who work in this industry. At least that's my case. And I'm pretty sure that when I retire, I will not really remember that in '99 I had a hike of salary. I will remember that in '99 my team was super, super proud because they did this and that they saw their nephew or niece playing the game, and it was so good, and then Spielberg played the game at E3, and that's the memories I will keep. And even if you still believe that money is value, and I know what I'm saying here, I know how money is important in the country, I'm not, blind about this, but even if just money is your focus, on the long term, if you just focus on short-term revenue and not quality of your brand will be dead. So it's good tactic on the short term, but not such a great vision on the long term. Something that can be maybe more interesting than me lecturing you on why money is not important, it's how to reach quality. There's no recipe. I'm just going to try to share some basic methods or ideas that I've been using in Ubisoft and that Ubisoft deployed in all their studios, and that we're trying to implement in Ubisoft India, in Pune. On project management, the first thing that's important is that we're not working in factories. So creation is a team effort. Team means that you need to have people who think differently, artists and programmers, designers, and they need to be able to work together. If you're a project manager on a video game, sit them together, have them work like really, really close, and put your project manager or producer right in the middle. Second thing, it's my personal vision. I don't know yet if it's a good idea or not, but I believe that the team should be smaller than reasonable. What I mean by this is that if everybody feels really empowered in what they're doing, because every day they spend on creating a feature or creating a background is needed, because if they're not there, there's nobody else to do it, then you feel your impact in the game, and then empowerment creates a will of quality and desire to do better. If you overstaff your team, you're probably going to be more on time, but your team members will feel like they can be replaced. I'm not sure it's what I want to bring. Third aspect of teamwork, that's something I saw many times, is that the team spirit actually reflecting in the game. I have one funny example. So the first game I produced was Rayman 2. Happy game, like all, very colorful, charming. And we did this with one of the best creative directors in Ubisoft. His name is Michel Ancel. He's a very, very funny guy, like very tough to work with, but extremely talented. And he was working with the team and etc. And he was usually saying, "This is shit, do it again." And then he left the company for a year or two, and the same team tried to create the sequel of Rayman 2. It was called Rayman 3. And they were all like, "Oh my God, that's serious. We're just by ourselves. This is a serious project, so we can't fuck up." And they did a very serious game. And the game was boring because it was not the same, freshness and fun than the last game. So try to keep your team happy. Make sure that they have fun, because your game is probably going to be more fun. And it doesn't mean that they're not going to work hard. Another feeling I have, still in the field of project management, there's this famous triangle of cost, time, quality. I don't think that you can hold the three ends of the triangle at the same time. My perspective, I'm not sure it's really valid for India, but I'm still trying. It's better to hold on cost and quality and give more time. So some examples of the times that we take in India to create games. So 6 months on iOS. I don't think it's standard, probably more than what usually developers do. 8 months on Facebook and 10 months on a console, like let's say enhancement, like a very qualitative port. Globally in Ubisoft, when we create a new IP, we're talking about 3 to 4 years, which is much more standard in the industry. We usually spend on creating a new IP almost as much time doing the conception and the pre-production than the production. So let's say out of a 2-year development, 1 year would be spent just defining your vision and creating the tools and the infrastructure that will allow you to produce this vision. It's not the case today in India, but we take much more time than what is standard in the industry to do the conception job. And even in a very technical port, there is technical conception. You need to position your game within a competitive market. You need to think about who's your audience. You need to define what you want to do.